Hello learners, welcome back to the course on AI in Human Resource Management. Today we start a module which looks into the challenges and future opportunities of AI in HRM. We will try to see that what are the challenges, and as it is popularly known, in challenges lies opportunities. So we'll look into the opportunities with respect to AI in HRM. I'm Dr. Ibrahim Sirlaisek. I'm an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Now, when you look into AI in HRM, we have seen what AI is doing to HRM and how it is transforming the human resource management landscape altogether. In that discussions, we have seen also some of the critical barriers or some of the biases or some of the problems, some of the inherent challenges. We'll try to look into this from different angles. Let's say, what are the structural challenges? What are the financial barriers? What are the technological challenges? What are the ethical concerns? What are the legal challenges? So we will try to categorize them. We'll try to have clean understanding about the challenges of AI in HRM in this particular lecture. So let's go into that in detail. When you look into AI in HR, specifically with respect to the problems or with respect to the challenges, we see that artificial intelligence in human resource management no doubt promises to revolutionize how organizations attract, retain, develop, and manage their workforce. However, its adoption comes with significant challenges that organizations must typically, navigate carefully. So when you look into the AI's application in HRM, specifically, it can provide transformative benefits. Benefits like automating a routine and the repetitive tasks. We have seen something like resume screening, in which the AI can help us, scheduling interviews, all these aspects where the mundane routine tasks or the repetitive tasks are automated. There could be a promise of enhancing decision making through predictive analytics. Let's say predicting employee turnover, why the employees are turning or why the employees are moving out, what is the reason. Significant idea can be derived from the proper understanding of the data, improving employee engagement through AI driven chatbots and personalized learning platforms. So, all these possibilities are there. However, adopting AI in HRM is not without challenges. So, despite the potential benefits, organizations do face a lot of, as I mentioned, technical, ethical, financial, and human-centered hurdles. So, artificial intelligence in human resource management, though it promises to revolutionize how organizations attract, retain, develop, and manage their workforce, the problems are plenty. So let's look into those challenges which act as barriers. First one could be the technological and data challenge. When you're looking into technological and data challenge specifically, we understand something called as legacy system, or we need to understand something called as legacy systems. Say, many organizations use outdated HR systems that lack the integration capabilities necessary for AI tools. So, when you are looking into a new integration with AI, you have to look into those legacy systems that are already in place. These legacy systems may not support the data formats or the computing power required for AI. So this happens to be one of the biggest problem. Implementing AI requires modern infrastructure which can involve costly and time consuming upgrades. You look into data quality and availability. When you understand this as another hindrance, a possible aspect, AI relies heavily on large data sets to function optimally. So HR data is often incomplete, it is inconsistent, or poorly stored. HR data actually hinders AI performance, leading to flawed outputs and biased decisions. So let's say because of the use of AI, we had a biased hiring recommendation. So this is a classic example of a data quality availability being manifested as a barrier, as a challenge. Then we have the problems with data security and privacy. We have touched upon that in the previous module. AI in HR processes vast amounts of sensitive personal data. So let's say something like employee demographics or performance metrics. You as an individual employee do not want to disclose some of the performance metrics, and unfortunately there can be situations or circumstances where your performance is being reported in a public platform within the organization, obviously, but it has many people do have access to that. So many a time it happens such that data security and privacy, specifically AI in HR processes, because it processes sensitive personal data, this privacy looms as a large problem. Ensuring that this data is stored, processed, and used in compliance with data protection is critical, and failure can lead to legal consequences. And the fourth one, most critical one, I'll say, is the scalability issues. Scaling AI solutions from a small pilot project to, let's say, full scale HR operations across a large enterprise can be very complex. AI models might perform well in isolated cases but struggle to maintain accuracy and efficiency across larger and more diverse data sets. There is also a possibility that, many a time the integration when the scale is increased will also be troublesome activity. Another important challenge is the structural challenge, or the organizational and structural challenge. We start with resistance to change. We have seen that there is an inherent inertia many people have when there is some level of technology being introduced to a particular system. So employees and HR teams may feel threatened by AI, fearing job displacement, or struggling to adapt to new technologies. So overcoming resistance requires change management initiatives. So as HR managers, the OD, or organizational design and organizational change, becomes quite relevant here. It requires proper communication and ensuring that AI is seen as a tool to augment rather than replace human roles. Another significant aspect would be the talent gap. Implementing and managing AI tools in HR requires both a blend of HR and AI expertise, we don't deny that, which is currently lacking in many organizations. So recruiting or training staff who understand both HR and AI skills. So this is where this course acts as a bridge for both the AI as well as the HR professionals, which can actually be difficult, but if done so, we can actually bridge the talent gap. Then we have the leadership buy-in and misalignment of goals. Please note, convincing leadership to invest in AI for HRM is often challenging, mainly because of the high upfront cost. So basically, you will have to deal with a lot of problems, especially with respect to the upfront cost. We have categorically analyzed this in the previous module, and that was one of the reasons why many companies do shy away from actually bringing in AI or taking the help of AI. So this is a possible problem: leadership buy-in and goals. When you are looking into misunderstanding AI's capability, without executive support, AI adoption stalls. So organizations need clear business cases and pilot projects to demonstrate the value of AI to leadership. Now, when you look into the concerns, mainly structural, we also have to see that there is a possibility of misalignment of goals. And this misalignment of goals is vital because AI tools need to align with HR specific needs and goals. So if there is a disconnect between what AI offers and what HR requires, AI implementation will fail. So misunderstanding AI's capabilities can lead to underutilization or ineffective deployments that don't solve HR's real problem. When you look into ethical concerns in AI-driven HRM, we have touched upon some of the concerns previously also. The first and the foremost one, without doubt, that emerges is the bias, which we have repeatedly addressed. When you look into AI systems, they are only as good as the data they are trained on, something which I repeatedly keep on telling because that needs to go into your mind. If training data reflects biases, let's say biases in terms of gender, in terms of race, AI models may perpetuate these biases, no doubt about it. Ensuring diversity and fairness in AI-driven decisions particularly in recruitment, performance reviews and promotions will be a major concern with the bias. When you look into the issue of transparency and explainability, we see that many AI systems, especially those based on deep learning, operate as black boxes, and this means that there is decision making process that is not easily understood. Communication is a problem, the comprehension is also a problem when it comes to the decision making being not so lucid, being treated as a black box. The problem is that in HR, where decisions affect careers and livelihoods, it's vital, it's critical that AI decisions can be explained and justified to employees and managers. There's a possible impact on jobs that will come up. AI can automate many tasks traditionally done by HR professionals, leading to concerns about job security. But striking a balance between automation and human oversight is the key. So, organizations need to ensure AI complements human work rather than replacing it. So, all the concerns with respect to displacement, job displacement, has to be mitigated here. Another significant factor would be the trust quotient, the trust element, employee trust and engagement. So, if employees feel that the AI systems are overly intrusive or are making biased or unfair decisions, trust in the HR process will erode. The trust, actually building trust, requires transparency. So, this is interconnected. Please note, it requires transparency about how AI systems work and how decisions are made. So, this is vital in fostering trust. Let us look into now the legal and the compliance angle. When you look into legal, you have to start with the regulatory compliance. Please note, ladies and gentlemen, AI must comply with existing labor laws, anti-discrimination laws, and privacy regulations. Just now we completed a course on labor welfare and industrial relations in the NPTEL platform. So we have, even with respect to India, we have discussed categorically about the new labor codes or the developments or the initiatives that are happening, the improvements that are happening in the labor law. So basically, you look into any territory, any region, any country, any nation for that matter, AI must comply with the specific labor laws, anti-discrimination laws, and privacy regulations. So navigating the complexities of regulations, let's say in Europe, the GDPR, ensuring AI systems do not violate employee rights or privacy becomes vital. Another critical aspect would be the liability issue. What do you mean by liability issue? When AI makes a decision, let's say, example would be taking a hiring recommendation as we have seen before. It can be difficult to assign accountability if something goes wrong. Who will be the accountable person? Where will the buck stop? Who will be the person who can be, be treated as a person who is accountable? So please note, when you are looking into liability, organizations must decide whether AI providers, HR professionals, or leadership are accountable for AI-driven decisions. Another significant aspect would be the lack of clear guidelines. Many countries lack specific legal frameworks for the use of AI in HR, and that is a bit simple in understanding because AI itself is evolving and many countries have not prepared themselves towards this AI revolution. So, they have not prepared certain legal frameworks or certain rules and regulations vis-a-vis AI in AI specifically and AI in HR, which creates uncertainty about the best practices. So, HR leaders must stay updated on evolving regulations and ensure that AI use is compliant with both current and emerging laws. So, when you are in a class of NPTEL or SWAYAM platform where you are looking into a class like AI in HRM, I need not emphasize it further that you are here to update yourself about what is happening in the industry, and that will make you stay above the particular understanding or particular evolution of AI in general. Now, let's look into some of the financial and investment barriers. The first and the foremost one which we have significantly discussed is the initial cost, high initial cost. AI tools, especially those customized for HR needs, can be very expensive and to even to run or even to develop or to implement. Most of the case-based examples and the softwares which we have taken in, or some of the tools which we have discussed in the previous modules, and the ones coming up are all paid softwares or paid programs. So basically, I have tried to give you a detailed picture with respect to some of the trial versions, as I have mentioned in those modules. But the problem is the high initial cost. So again, this comes up as a challenge. Please note, many organizations struggle with the high upfront investment required for AI, including be it software or infrastructure or even the training costs. So many a time what happens is that what is required for the organization, please do analyze, do a gap analysis, and based on your specific requirement, if you're part of an organization, if you're part of a department in an organization, please make decisions in a prudent and practical and pragmatic way, so that you will not have to pay a lot in terms of the initial costs. Another significant financial barrier would be the uncertain ROI. When you talk about the return on investments, while AI promises long-term efficiency gains, no doubt about it, the actual return on investment can be unclear, especially in the early stages. So organizations need clear metrics to measure AI's impact on HR processes and justify continued investment. And then you look into continuous investment as one of the significant barrier that is emerging as part of the finance. AI is not a one-time investment. So to remain effective, AI systems do require continuous updates, retraining, and new data input. So ongoing maintenance costs can deter organizations, especially smaller ones, from adopting AI in HRM. So these are some of the significant, financial barriers with respect to AI in HRM. We have seen structural barriers, we have seen financial barriers, we have seen some of the inherent systemic barriers. But that said, how can we build AI literacy? How can we actually tame AI, if I can use the word? How can we actually adopt the best practices in AI, or how can we adopt the technology towards AI? So this is where you look into the AI literacy in a significant way. So let's look into building AI literacy in HR. It starts from education, it has its own arm in investment, it is having certain effects in collaboration. So we'll look into that in detail, but please note, if you do not have trained individuals, if you do not have the right person to execute the particular task, what is required in AI, whatever be the sophisticated technology you are having, whatever be the sophisticated systems you are having in place, you will not succeed, because of the fact that you don't have the right professionals for that. So let's look into building AI in literacy in greater detail. Let's start with the education aspect. When you look into the education, needless to say, educate the HR professionals about AI, its potentials, its limitations also. So this includes training teams to work with AI tools and ensuring cross-functional collaboration with IT and data experts. So the action could be to invest in AI training programs or collaborate with external experts to upskill HR teams. Another significant aspect could be the collaboration and the human AI collaboration. Specifically, when you look into, let's say, AI, it should augment human capabilities, not replace them. For example, AI can screen resumes, but final hiring decisions should be made by the human recruiters. Define clear roles for AI and humans in HR processes, ensuring that humans retain ultimate decision-making authority, or they are the last say or the final say in the entire scheme of things. There is again investment in AI training programs, or partner with external experts to upskill the HR teams also, which also lands up as vital in terms of AI literacy. When you're talking about the human AI collaboration, please note, Augmentation is one of the aspect. It is not about replacing, it is about augmenting. AI can analyze resume as I mentioned, but it should not be the final decision maker. There should be a clear role definition, clearly defined roles for AI and humans in HR so that there is autonomy with respect to human beings in terms of the decision making. And finally, there should be continuous evaluation, regularly evaluate the human AI collaboration and adjust roles to optimize the HR process. Now let's look into the ethical AI implementation HRM. When you are looking into AI implementation, another significant discussion comes up, that is the ethical AI implementation. So the ethics becomes significant aspect whenever you try to bring, and not only in HRM but also in all the fields. When you are talking about AI, it is pertinent that the ethics also comes up in discussion. So basically, you have to ensure that AI is there with fairness, transparency and accountability. So when you are looking into ensuring that AI tools are there, you have to also ensure that AI tools are designed and used ethically with a focus on fairness, transparency and accountability. So regularly audit the AI systems for bias, if any. Ethical guidelines have to be established and involve diverse teams. You look into the input coming from diverse aspects of multiple perspectives, and finally have a continuous improvement, continuously improve and refine ethical AI practices. And when you look into the pilot programs, please note that start with small controlled AI projects to test feasibility, address issues and demonstrate value before scaling AI use across the HR functions. Conduct pilot projects that specifically target specific HR pain points. Let's say one could be employee attrition prediction, and scale successful pilots. So basically, when you are looking into AI in HRM, see, it involves a lot of cost, upfront cost. So when you have a system which has a lot of upfront costs, it is natural that you run a pilot. Even in research, you do a pilot study, mainly because you tend to get an understanding that how it is going and whether it is actually doing what it is supposed to do, or it is measuring what it is supposed to measure, or it is executing what it is supposed to execute. So all these parameters can be easily understood if you are looking into a pilot program. So when you are looking into AI in HRM, which is also a cost intensive program, at least the initial upfront cost, I would certainly suggest start small, target the pain points as I mentioned, like employee attrition prediction, that if your organization is having that as a pain point, why not use that, target that, evaluate and adjust based on that, and finally if you find success in that, try to scale it. So this is how a natural AI program can be organically developed within the organization. So please take note that since it is having a large upfront cost, it is having its own financial, ethical, structural considerations and challenges. Please note that it is always prudent to go for pilot programs for AI in HRM. So I just wanted to introduce you to the challenges. As I mentioned, in challenges lies the opportunities which we will deal with in the coming lectures. But please take a note of those challenges. They are not one, they are many. They are there in their structure, they are there in the technical aspects, they are there in the financial aspects, ethical aspects. So we have taken a clear note of all the different categorizations and we have discussed. Based on that, we'll see with more details about the opportunities in the next class. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.